Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So a few months ago we brought you a video that we called the top 10 things you might not have known about Knight Rider. Now if you missed it, it's really a fantastic top 10 list of, those little details that maybe, you've been a casual fan or even a diehard fan of the show for decades. I guarantee you there's probably something in that video you hadn't known previously. The response to it has been really fantastic, so much more than we ever thought whenever we put that video out. So we thought, well, if one top 10 things you didn't know about Knight Rider video was really cool, what about two? So we dug deeper into our files to bring you yet another installment, which we are calling 10 more things you may not have known about Knight Rider. Now, if you didn't see the original top 10 list we did, you may want to go back and check it out, although it's not really necessary and is not required viewing before you check this one out. So as you're checking this video out, let us know in the comments if you are a Knight Rider genius and you knew all these before, or if we were able to teach you something you may not have known previously. Alright, it's time to begin the countdown. Number 10. Family Matters. In our 20 years of talking with the cast and crew of Knight Rider, one thing was very clear. The cast and crew were like a family, who mostly got along great and were very welcoming to the guest stars each week. But, did you know that a couple of those guest stars were actually the cast's family? In the Season 3 episode Dead of Night, Michael is on the hunt for the antidote to a deadly poison, a hunt that leads him to the warehouse of Sonny Martin. Martin's receptionist is a lady named Rosemary, a friendly person who provides Michael some important information about the origin of the poison in the rare orchid. Now, Rosemary is played by Jean Hasselhoff, David Hasselhoff's sister. Moving ahead in the final episode, Season 4's Voodoo Night, Michael crashes the party of Harana, a self-proclaimed voodoo princess. One of the guests at this party, seen in the background in a number of scenes, is David Hasselhoff's real-life father and the Hoff's biggest fan, Joe Hasselhoff. And of course, let's not forget the 3 appearances of David's fiancée and later his first wife, Catherine Hickland, who played Michael's lost love, Stevie Mason. Number 9. Speaking of Stevie. David Hasselhoff and Catherine Hickland starred together in 3 of Knight Rider's most well-known episodes: Whitebird, Let It Be Me, and The Scent of Roses. They had met years before and got engaged shortly after the filming of Whitebird in Season 1. In fact, David had hid her engagement ring inside the hood of a miniature KITT car and proposed at a Knight Rider party. Now, Catherine returned in Season 2's Let It Be Me, and they would be married in March of 1984, shortly after this episode's completion. By Season 4, David and Catherine's characters were married on the show, and that on-screen marriage pretty closely mirrored their real-life marriage 2 years prior. Well, except, Catherine wasn't shot and killed at the altar. Thank goodness. At their real wedding, Edward Mulhare, who played Devon in the show, actually gave away Catherine, just the same way that Devon gave away Stevie in the episode. Also, Reverend Henry Catrona married David and Catherine, and he also appeared in The Scent of Roses to marry Michael and Stevie. And that dress that Stevie wears in the episode? That was Catherine's real-life wedding dress. Art imitating life, I suppose. Number 8. Bach to the Future. I promise you this entire countdown list is not going to be solely related to familial relations within the show. As we just talked about, David Hasselhoff and Catherine Hicklin got married on March 24th of 1984, but they ultimately got divorced just shy of their 5-year anniversary on March 1st of 1989. The reason they got divorced isn't entirely clear, but it may have something to do with a certain Knight Rider episode. In the Season 4 installment Night Racer, airing in 1985, Michael works to stop a hitman named Fredo Laurani, who lives on a houseboat with a beautiful blonde named Betty. Now, Betty is played by actress Pamela Bach, David's future second wife. Interestingly, the two married in December of 1989, a mere 9 months after his divorce to Catherine was official, although reports say that David and Catherine separated 2 years prior. Bach was already 4 months pregnant with their first daughter when they got married. While David was starting a new life with Bach, Catherine moved on as well, and in June of 1992 married soap opera star Michael E. Knight. No, you can't make this stuff up. Number 7. Scanner Screw-Ups. One of KITT's most iconic features was, of course, the oscillating red light in the front grille known as a scanner. With it, KITT could detect obstacles, scan license plates, or simply identify bad guys in a crowd. Series creator Glenn A. Larson modeled KITT's scanner after the deadly Cylons from his earlier show, Battlestar Galactica. On the production side, the circuitry that gave life to KITT's scanner would occasionally cause headaches for the crew, so much so that the circuit itself was redesigned not once but twice during the series run. The original scanner circuitry was actually powered by a microprocessor, which is fitting since in-universe, KITT was also said to be powered completely by microprocessors. With this original circuitry, 100-watt halogen bulbs were powered and controlled by a fairly complex setup, well, for 1982 anyways, and allowed the operator to choose between a number of scan patterns. In fact, in some of Knight Rider's earliest episodes, we can see some of those scan patterns, such as the one-way scan, the double scan, and even a pattern where the outermost bulbs were not used. From what our research has concluded, only one of the cars received this high-tech microprocessor-powered scanner. The rest were built in-house at Universal, featuring small wire-wrapped circuit boards powering a relay-based light array. These Gen 2 scanners had much less functionality, only being able to turn on and off and adjusting the scanning speed. The scanners worked okay some of the time, but due to their quick construction and wire-wrapped connections, they were prone to failure quite often. During a hiatus in the final season, it was the perfect time to rework the scanner circuitry once again, utilizing a studio employee with a penchant for electronics to make them more reliable, and that they were. Number 6. Skilled skiing. One of the trademarks of action-adventure shows back in the 80s was always the car stunts, and one of those stunts that audiences couldn't get enough of was skiing. No, not like cross-country or downhill skiing, but skiing a car, meaning driving it on either the left two or the right two wheels. No stunt driver was better at skiing a car than the late Buzz Bundy. He was able to delicately balance a car on either the passenger side or the driver's side, a feat that was nearly impossible for any other stunt driver. Every single time you see KITT skiing in Knight Rider, it was Buzz Bundy, who was brought on set for that specific stunt, and that's who accomplished it. Buzz brought along with him a balancing handle, which he would mount inside the car to help stabilize himself when up on two wheels. Despite being one of KITT's most well-known features, there's only 14 episodes which feature this stunt. And some of those episodes, like Slam and Sammy's Stunt Show Spectacular and Junkyard Dog, feature multiple skiing in the episode. We first see KITT ski in the pilot, and we see it for the last time towards the end of the series in the 4th season episode, Deadly Nightshade. Number 5. Bolts, Rivets, and Tape. Listen. Portraying an indestructible car on screen was not an easy job, especially when the car was most definitely not indestructible off-screen. In fact, sometimes the crew would resort to very low-tech ways to keep a high-tech car together. For example, on some of the cars, especially any that would be flying through the air, there was a need to secure the hubcaps to the rim. On a regular Trans Am, those caps were known to fly off, let alone the rigors of television production and the stunts required of these cars. So how did they handle this? Well, it was kind of simple. They actually drilled a hole in the center of the cap and ran a bolt through it to keep it affixed to the rim. Similarly, the Trans Am air extractors, found in the front fenders near the door, were known to pop off. This was also remedied in a crude and semi-permanent way. The holes were drilled, and the plastic housings were riveted to the fenders themselves. All of the surviving cars still have these riveted on air extractors. And what do you do when you're on location and need a quick repair on the T-top roof? Simple. Copious amounts of gaffer's tape is the ticket. Number 4. Comtron is everywhere. Silicon Valley's #1 manufacturer of bubble memory chips seems to have been quite a presence in the Knight Rider universe. Of course, we are introduced to Comtron, originally called Caltron in early treatments, in the pilot, a company that Tanya Walker and her associates infiltrated to steal some of their top-secret designs. Comtron was a pretty impressive organization with a bunch of assets, to include semis, step vans, pickup trucks, tow trucks, and security vehicles. We see these Comtron vehicles throughout Knight Rider's 4-year run, almost like they're spying on Michael and KITT's every mission. Heck, we even see a Comtron Bach sitting in a warehouse in the later episode Night Moves. But the reality of it is that these vehicles were simply part of Universal Studios' transportation fleet, purchased in early 1982. The distinctive red and orange stripes were added supposedly so the vehicles could be easily identified as belonging to the studio while out on location. While we aren't sure about some of the smaller Comtron vehicles' fate, we can tell you that a few of the trailers do exist to this day. Ask us how we know. Number 3. A jacket for every occasion. What would Michael Knight be without his leather jacket? Well, I guess he would be cold. Ha! Alright. In Southern California, in the summer, with the windows up, in a black car, probably not cold. Anyways, Hasselhoff's look in the show is so iconic, and that's mainly due to the jacket. In fact, there's only one episode in the entire series where the jacket doesn't make an appearance. More on that in a moment. But did you realize that Hasselhoff wore a few different styles of the jacket throughout the show? Let's start with the pilot and his first black leather jacket with its short collar, chest zipper, and thicker patches on the shoulders. He only wore this jacket for 2 episodes, the pilot and the next one produced, Inside Out. After that, he switched to a jacket with a fold-down collar and some snaps along the edge. This would be the standard jacket all the way through the midpoint of Season 2, when his jacket switched for one final time to one with a pseudo X shape stitched on the back. You see what I mean? This jacket premiered in the episode Diamonds Aren't a Girl's Best Friend and will be used throughout the rest of the series. There were also a couple of one-off black jackets, like the one he wears in Hearts of Stone with the white cording around the shoulders, as well as a similar one worn by fake Michael Knight, aka the Chameleon, in Season 3's Night of the Chameleon. That one incidentally sold at auction a few years ago, and one of Hasselhoff's original Michael Knight jackets still resides in a display at Universal Studios in their office. Now, as for that one episode where Michael Knight didn't wear his black leather jacket, the Season 2 finale, Big Iron. Number 2. Toto. No, not the dog from Wizard of Oz. Toto. Every couple of months, it never fails, someone will ask me about that weird metal bar under the front of KITT's bumper. It's something that was added to the car solely for a production purpose, but became so much more than that. It actually became a part of KITT's exterior identity. It's a camera truck mount. Knight Rider was fairly unique in that when the scene called for Hasselhoff to be talking inside of KITT while driving, the crew actually took the car out on the roads around Burbank to film. A lot of shows of the day, like Knight Rider's rival The Dukes of Hazzard, filmed those interior shots on a soundstage with a green screen. Now, in my opinion, Knight Rider filming out on actual streets was so much more realistic than filming with a green screen. The camera tow bar connected the Trans Am to a pickup truck from Casper Camera Cars and allowed them to pull KITT while filming inside. The setup consisted of 2 metal receivers made out of square tubing that were bolted to the unibody of the Trans Am, and some of those Trans Ams are actually welded to the unibody as well, followed by a mounting bar that slid into those receivers. Finally, a tongue, for lack of a better word, connected the truck to the mounting bar, completing the connection from the camera truck to KITT. For Knight Rider's first 2 seasons, that removable mounting bar was just left connected to KITT, giving him that unique look on the front. By season 3, the crew decided to leave the mounting bar off, leaving only the 2 metal receivers still visible on the car when not connected. Even though the show didn't use every single Trans Am as an insert or camera car, nearly every one of them received a tow bar setup. My guess is that was just a part of the standard modifications done to every Trans Am when the studio acquired it. And these tow bars weren't limited to KITT either. We see this on other cars too, such as Rooster's Camaro from Season 3's The 19th Hole, and even Sandra Rusk's station wagon from Season 4's Hills of Fire. And finally, the #1 thing you might not have known about Knight Rider, Part 2, sticker dashes. KITT is a high-tech wonder car, and anytime we saw someone get into his cockpit, they were usually amazed at the incredible dashboard laid out across the interior. The show had one hero car at a time, which was decked out with the full fiberglass console, electronic panels, and blinking lights. The other cars were, shall we say, less techy. While some of the cars didn't have a Knight Rider dash at all, others received a very low-tech finish. Remember, in the 1980s, we had low-resolution CRT televisions, and the details we can glean off of today's high-definition 4K units just weren't visible back then. So what did the studio do for these other not quite ready for primetime kits? Well, they plastered the dashes with colorful stickers. Take a look at this scene from Season 1's The Final Verdict, and you'll see what I mean. This is actually one of the 2 cars we currently own, by the way, although the sticker dash is long gone, unfortunately. But you can see the digit readouts are simply red block stickers, same with the voice box, along with some white pinstriping around the speedometer and tachometer. A quick, easy, and cheap solution. Perhaps an even better example of this sticker dash can be seen in some of George Barris's contributions to the series towards the end of its run, such as this trailer KITT convertible. Take a look at that dash. Pretty sure they just took a sheet of colored sticker material, cut out squares and rectangles, and tried to make it look somewhat decent. Alrighty folks, that wraps up 10 more things you might not have known about Knight Rider. Again, let me know down in the comments, did we reveal anything you guys didn't know, or are you all pseudo Knight Rider historians and you had all these details down? We'd love to hear it. And, you know, let us know if you like these type of videos. Maybe we can come up with a part 3 one day. As always, I greatly appreciate you willing to spend your time with me talking about Knight Rider. It's always a lot of fun. Look forward to doing it again. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hello friends, it's me, KITT. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.